Welcome back everybody to the channel. So a couple of weeks ago, you may remember me doing a video, and what I was suggesting was that LBC was staging callers to call in that was pro Keir Starmer. Well, it looks like they've done it again, but they've gone one step further in what could not be described as anything else but complete desperation. And this time it is LBC's golden boy James O'Brien. Now I'm going to show you the clip and talk about it and ask for your opinion, but just to remind you of the other video we did. The caller called in after Keir Starmer's speech at the conference, and he claimed he had tears in his eyes and he was filled with hope at what Keir Starmer was saying. And he gave the usual red flags. He was a conservative, he was a business owner, but Keir Starmer had turned him around, basically to tell you, as the viewer, that this person must be telling the truth because it's not a Labour supporter. Well, this clip I'm going to show you is absolutely shocking. And I'm going to ask you the question, is it staged or is it just one really, really dysfunctional marriage? Please take a look.
This bad, I think, when, and I can't talk about politicians because I don't know a great deal, but I think when
as much as they do. You know as much as they do. Oh, really?
Well, yeah, I think when Nigel Farage started, all this campaigning and turning up locally, because we live in Ramsgate, so that's quite close to, Dover and all that. And he's like, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Oh, this is it. They're all here. Oh, I went up to the shops the other day, couldn't see a white face. And they're all hanging about on street corners. Who are? Who are? And it's just... I'd say we had the biggest row all weekend. He thinks I'm just pathetic and I'm woke and I'm this, that and the other, and I won't be happy till we're taken over.
Does he? Where does he get his... Is he online a lot?
Yeah, oh God, all the time. Oh. He sends me skip it. I've sent you a little video. Have you? That'd be nice. And I open it up and it's do you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. But it's so... honestly, it's endemic here. My neighbours... We have a neighbour who moved in further down the road who's not of English or, I'm not going to say anything. But now, you've got to watch out for these people. Yep. Before you know it, all my neighbours will be black, foreign, coming in off the boat.
I'm sorry. It's awful
all
for
of
you.
them.
A tiny little bit.
Horrific.
So there you see the caller claims to be the wife of, let's be honest, a far right husband. So first of all, there's no talk about getting divorced, splitting up, but she feels so passionate about her husband's views that she's gonna ring up James O'Brien for support and basically jump on the bandwagon and talk to the whole viewership of the LBC about her husband. Now, when I was watching this clip, first of all, I thought this is absolutely staged, it's the LBC again. But I was waiting for the word Nigel Farage to come out. And if that word came out, I knew 100% it was staged and I wanted to do this video. And lo and behold, there you go. James O'Brien asked the question, what started this? And she says, Nigel Farage, when he came down here talking about the illegal immigration near Dover. Obviously I'm paraphrasing, and this is what suddenly got this normal loving guy who loved everybody suddenly start talking about migrants in a negative way. Now you could claim that it's a very strange wife, how she thinks of her husband, and she just wants to point score against him, or you could say she's genuinely concerned. But I don't believe it because of the way James O'Brien led to the question. Basically, what we got out of it was Nigel Farage, as he said himself, is ruining marriages. Nigel Farage's views are splitting the household up. They're brainwashing men to where they're blinded by immigrants. She mentioned about how he suddenly doesn't want to walking around the streets, and he says them lot all around there, and she says who are these lot, as if it's all imaginary in his head. Now first and foremost, the concerns, let's say this husband is a real person, the concerns that he's raising are genuine concerns that millions and millions of people up and down the country have. But it again shows this attack, this coordinated attack that we're seeing from all the mainstream media, all the major political parties. It's all about Nigel Farage. And the reason that is because their internal polling is telling them what we're talking about, that as things stand now, Nigel Farage and Reform UK are going to get a massive majority. And the reason why they're going to get that majority is because they only probably need 30% of the vote if Labour and the Conservatives keep dropping. Some polls now have the Green Party and the Lib Dems and Labour Party and the Conservatives all on 15% each, with Reform UK on around 32%. Obviously these polls differ depending on who does it, but if you've got parties on 15%, they're going to end up with the same problem that Nigel Farage historically had, where they're getting an even support across the country. You could see a scenario where the Lib Dems, because they're good at concentrating the vote, could end up with more MPs certainly than the Tories, and possibly even Labour. Can you imagine not only having a Reform UK majority, but the second party being the Liberal Democrats? It's actually quite exciting when you're somebody like me, who all I want to see is the two parties, the establishment, smashed to pieces. Now, I think the Lib Dems, to be honest, I've always had one foot in, one foot out. And if they do finish second, you will just see those establishment figures going over to them, and possibly even with the Green Party. But when it comes to Reform UK, they're the only alternative to the mainstream that we have. And they're winning big. And what you're seeing here is LBC, and you'll start seeing it with more and more news channels, in my opinion, staging callers to get the answers they want. So we'll just quickly look at it one more time. Somebody rings him. They're talking about how the husband suddenly is happy that there'd been this terrorist attack. She then talks about how suddenly he's talking about all immigrants being bad and that they're taking over the streets. And then James O'Brien asks, how did all this start? And she claims it's just recently because of Nigel Farage, even though Farage has been saying the same things now as he's been saying for the last 10, 15 years. She could have said it started 10 years ago when Donald Trump got elected as the president of the USA, but she didn't. She said it started recently with Nigel Farage. She pretended she didn't know who these politicians was, another red flag. She said, I don't really know politicians, and pretended she didn't really know Nigel Farage's name, when it's quite clearly that this lady knew her politics. She knew who James O'Brien was, she knew what the LBC stood for, and in my opinion, the call was staged. If it wasn't staged, all I can say is I feel very, very sorry for her husband, when her biggest concern is, can she get on the radio to James O'Brien where she can get some support because her husband has concerns. But I don't think that's the case. She didn't seem angry or upset. If she'd said they was going through a divorce or the marriage was on the rocks, maybe then you could say that's why she's calling in. But she seemed to find it quite comical at times. The whole thing to me seems staged. But more importantly, I want to ask you your opinion. Was this call staged, and is this the second at least time that the LBC have staged a call? If you've seen other examples on other news channels, please share the link in the comment section. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next video.